Hi students, good morning. So my name is Farindra and I'm lecturer in physics working in Vignan institutions. So let us continue our topic regarding moving charges and magnetism. So today's topic is moving coil galvanometer. So in this lecture we will discuss about what is meant by moving coil galvanometer, why it is used, what is the principle that is involved in the moving coil galvanometer, and construction of the moving coil galvanometer and the working of moving coil galvanometer. So let us see why this moving coil galvanometer is used. Moving coil galvanometer. So it is used, the basic use is, it is used to measure or detect small currents which is up to 10 power minus 9 amperes, that is nanoamperes. So it is a device which is used to measure small currents. It is used to measure or to detect that is flowing in the circuit. So it is an instrument which is used to measure or detect the current flowing in the circuit of small currents which is up to 10 power minus 9 amperes. So let us now study what is the principle regarding this moving coil galvanometer and the construction of the moving coil galvanometer. So the basic principle of moving coil galvanometer is, basic principle of moving coil galvanometer is when a current carrying loop is placed in a uniform magnetic field, it experiences some torque. So the basic principle of moving coil galvanometer is whenever a current carrying loop is placed in the uniform magnetic field that experiences some torque. In our last video, we have discussed about the torque on a current carrying loop placed in a uniform magnetic field, right? So you can observe that video. So what is the mathematical formula for the torque when it is placed in a when the current carrying loop is placed in a uniform magnetic field? So whenever the current which we want to measure is passed through this current carrying loop which is placed in a uniform magnetic field, then it experiences some torque, which means it is able to rotate and it makes some deflection. So by that deflection we are able to measure the current flowing in the given circuit. So now let us see what is the basic construction of this moving coil galvanometer construction. Basic construction of moving coil galvanometer. So initially in moving coil galvanometer, consider a rectangular loop. Which has n number of turns. So consider it as a rectangular loop which has n number of turns, which is on a rectangular non-conducting board, which is placed on a rectangular non-conducting board. So the two ends of this rectangular loop are connected to a spring made up of phosphorus branch. So in our discussion, we will see why it is made up of phosphorus branch. Then it is connected to the two terminals of the galvanometer. So this is terminal 1, this is terminal 2. These terminals are used to connect the wires to the circuit. These terminals are used to connect the galvanometer to the circuit. Now, this rectangular loop is placed in a uniform magnetic field. So, it is placed in between the two permanent magnetic poles which are concaved in shape. In this manner. So one is the north pole and second one is the south pole. These two are the two permanent magnets. Two permanent magnets so that the uniform magnetic field is generated. So the magnetic field, direction of the magnetic field is from north pole to south pole. So this is the direction of the magnetic field. Let B is the strength of the magnetic induction. Okay, this is a current carrying loop which has n number of turns, small n number of turns. Okay, now inside this circular coil or inside this rectangular loop, a soft iron core cylinder is placed. Soft iron cylinder, like this. Soft iron cylinder for the I am indicating horizontal lines so that you can easily understand. So this is soft iron cylinder. Soft iron cylinder. So once again you can see the construction. So consider a rectangular loop which has n number of turns, and the two ends of the rectangular loop are pivoted at the both ends and are connected to a spring made up of phosphorus branch, soft iron. So, and these springs are connected, this pivoted terminal are connected to the two terminals of the galvanometer, such that which we can connect to the terminals of the circuit for which the current has to be measured. And this whole rectangular loop is placed between the two permanent magnets, in which one is acting as a north pole, another one is acting as a south pole, such that a uniform magnetic field is produced. Let the magnetic induction be B. Now inside this rectangular loop, a soft iron cylinder is placed. This soft iron cylinder is placed such that radial magnetic field is generated. So in our discussion, later discussion, we will come to know why the radial magnetic field is used. So to generate the radial magnetic field and uniform magnetic field, a soft iron cylinder is placed. So this is the basic construction of moving coil galvanometer, to which here the rotating part is connected to a needle pointer, which points the reading, which gives us the reading, current reading. Okay, so this is a pointer which is connected to the moving part. So you can observe the basic construction of the moving coil galvanometer, which has a rectangular loop in between two permanent magnets, which has a magnetic field induction, and inside this rectangular loop a soft iron cylinder is placed such that radial magnetic field is generated. So for better understanding of this construction, let us see some video in three-dimensional view. So here you can observe two permanent magnets are placed. One is acts as a north pole and another one is a south pole, so that radial magnetic field is generated. And here we have considered a rectangular loop of n turns, and both the ends of this rectangular loop are pivoted on top and bottom. The black one indicates the pivoted at the both ends, so it is fixed at the both ends. So it is placed in a non-conducting iron cylinder. So at the both ends of the pivoted ends, there a spring is placed. You can observe here the spring is placed at the pivoted end, and the end of the spring is connected to the fixed key, so that it is fixed. The spring is fixed at the one end and another end is connected to the rectangular loop. Now inside this rectangular loop, a soft iron cylinder is placed. The total system is placed in between the two permanent magnets. So here you can observe the magnetic field. Due to this soft iron cylinder, radial magnetic field is generated, and a pointer is placed to the moving end, rotating end of the cylinder. So whenever the two terminals are connected to the circuit, the current flows and the reading can be noted by using that pointer. So this is the basic construction of the moving coil galvanometer. Okay, now let us see what is the working of the moving coil galvanometer, how the moving coil galvanometer works. So here the current which is to be measured, or the current passing through the wire which is to be measured, are connected to the two terminals of the moving coil galvanometer, such that when it is connected to the circuit, a current flows through the moving coil galvanometer in this direction. So let us see in this direction. Okay, so as the magnetic field, the direction of the magnetic field is given in this way from left to right, and you can observe, consider this rectangular loop as A, B, C and D. So whenever the moving coil galvanometer is connected to this circuit for which the current has to be measured, the current flows to this rectangular loop from A to B, and from here is from C to D. So from the topic, torque acting on the current loop when placed in a uniform magnetic field, we observe the, so whenever the magnetic field is perpendicular to the current, then the direction of the force can be indicated by the Fleming's left hand rule, from which the thumb finger indicates the direction of the force, index finger indicates the direction of the magnetic field, and the middle finger indicates the direction of the current. So from which, so I'm not explaining in detail, because as this explanation is done in our previous video, that is torque acting on a uniform magnetic field. So on the conductor A to B, the direction of the force will be outward, so which is FAB, and here the direction will be inward, which is FCD. So both the forces are acting in opposite direction, and here both the ends are pivoted. So whenever the current flows, as the one of the force is acting outward, another force is acting inward, so it able to rotate, that is it's deflect. So whenever the current flowing into this rectangular loop, then the torque is produced, that means which is it able to rotate, deflects. So when this moving coil rectangular loop is rotated, here the two springs are twisted. As it is pivoted at both these ends, it is pivoted. As it is at a pivoted, that is fixed. When the both ends are fixed, when this rectangular loop is rotated, both these springs are twisted. So from which a rotating torque is produced, or restoring torque is generated. Here, due to this rotation of this rectangular loop, the deflection torque is generated, and as due to this rotation, the two springs are rotated, twisted, so a restoring torque is generated. So initially on the construction, we say that the soft iron cylinder is placed in this rectangular loop. So due to the soft iron cylinder, the magnetic field will be radial. Radial magnetic field is generated. So what is the meaning of radial magnetic field? So radial magnetic field indicates that the magnetic field generated is always parallel to the plane of the loop. So radial magnetic field What is meant by radial magnetic field means the field generated, the magnetic field is always parallel to the plane of the rectangular loop. Magnetic field is always parallel to plane of the loop. Is always parallel to plane of the loop. The generated radial magnetic field is always parallel to the plane of the loop and also perpendicular to the normal of the loop. So from our last discussion, the torque acting on a current loop when it is placed in a magnetic field is given by torque tau is equal to NIAB sin theta. Torque tau is equal to NIAB sin theta. Here N denotes, so N is nothing but number of turns, which is N. N is the number of turns, and I is the current flowing in the loop. And A is the area of cross section of the rectangular loop. Area of cross section of the rectangular loop, and B is the strength of the magnetic field or magnetic induction, and theta is the angle between plane perpendicular to plane normal to the loop and the uniform magnetic field. Here theta is the angle between plane normal to the loop and a uniform magnetic field. So when a soft iron core cylinder is placed inside this rectangular loop, a radial magnetic field is generated. What is meant by radial magnetic field? The magnetic field which is always parallel to the plane of the loop or perpendicular to the normal of the loop. Therefore here theta is equal to 90 degrees. So maximum torque is generated. So to generate maximum torque, we use soft iron cylinder. Simply to generate maximum torque and maximum magnetic field, a soft iron cylinder is used. So maximum torque, or it is also called as a deflecting torque. The deflecting torque tau d is equal to NIA. Deflecting torque is equal to NIAB. Let it be the equation 1. Okay. So now when this cylinder is rotated or deflected due to the current flowing in this rectangular loop, the rectangular loop is deflected. Due to this deflection, the springs that are connected to the both ends of this rectangular loop are twisted such that there is some restoring torque is generated. So the expression for the restoring torque, let it be tau r. So restoring torque tau r is equal to C into theta, where C is the restoring couple per unit twist. Let it be the equation number 2. So tau d is equal to, that is deflecting torque is given by NIAB sin theta, NIAB, and restoring torque is equal to C into theta, where C is the restoring couple per unit twist and theta is the angle through which it is twisted. So under balanced condition, the both the torque should be equal. So tau d is equal to tau into R. Restoring torque should be equal to deflecting torque. So NIAB is equal to C into theta. Here we need to calculate the current. So current I is equal to C divided by NAB into theta. NAB into theta. So here C is nothing but restoring couple per unit twist, and N is the number of turns, A is the area of cross section of this rectangular loop, and B is the magnetic field. As this all will be constant, C is constant, so which depends upon this material with which the spring is made, and N is the number of turns, and A is the area of cross section, B is the uniform magnetic field or magnetic induction. So all these terms are constant, so from which we can write it as I is equal to K into theta, where K is galvanometer constant. K is equal to C by NAB, which is a galvanometer constant. Galvanometer constant. Okay, K is equal to C by NAB, which is a galvanometer constant. As it is a constant, so I is directly proportional to the theta. So the amount of the current which is to be measured when passed through this moving coil galvanometer is directly proportional to the angle to which the pointer gets deflected. Okay, so the current which have to be measured is directly proportional to the angle with which this pointer is deflected. So from which we can measure the how much amount of current is flowed through this moving coil galvanometer or through the circuit. Okay, so let us see what is the working of the moving coil galvanometer by using some video, three-dimensional video, such that you can understand it more. Students, now you can see the diagram video. Here the north pole and the south pole and the direction of the magnetic field is as shown. B is the direction of the magnetic field and the current flowing in the rectangular loop, that is from A to B and C to D. So whenever the current is flowing from A to B, it indicates the direction of the force. So one of the direction of the force is inward, another force is outward. So which can be denoted from the Fleming's left hand rule. So you can see the direction of the forces. So as the forces, the couple is the rectangular loop is twisted. As the rectangular loop is twisted, the pointer is also moved, deflected towards some angle, from which the reading can be noted. So once the current is removed, it comes to its normal position. Okay, so you can see in this video, so whenever it is twisted, then it shows some deflection. So whenever the current flows, so you can observe once again, so current is flowing from A to B and C to D. So whenever the current flows, due to the force acting on the conductor when placed in the uniform magnetic field, conductor is placed in uniform magnetic field, it experiences some force. So the direction of the force can be given by Fleming's left hand rule. So you can observe the direction of the forces. One of the force is inward, another force is outward. Due to that forces, torque is generated and it is rotated through some angle through which, for which a pointer is connected, so which gives the direction or which gives the reading. So from the video, I think you can understand what happens when current is flowing through the moving coil galvanometer. So from the expression of the moving coil galvanometer, current I is equal to C by NAB into theta, which is a constant, so I is directly proportional to theta. So whenever if the current flowing through the circuit increases, then the deflection angle is also increases, which gives the reading. So from the video you have seen before, so whenever the current flows, there is a deflection in the pointer. So as the current flow towards the circuit increases, the deflection will also increases, and which gives the reading for the moving coil galvanometer. So in this moving coil galvanometer, there are some merits and demerits. So as you can see, the galvanometer constant, which is given by K is equal to C by NAB. Here C denotes the couple per unit twist, and N is the number of turns, A is the area of cross section, and B is the uniform magnetic field that is generated due to the two permanent magnets, North Pole and the South Pole. So it is the galvanometer constant is independent of the Earth's horizontal magnetic field. So it can be used anywhere. Okay, it does not changes its value due to the Earth's horizontal component of the magnetic field. What is the Earth's horizontal component of the magnetic field? We will study in our later chapter, that is magnetism and matter. Okay, now and as the value of current is directly proportional to the angle of diffraction, so we can see small current, we can also measure the small currents such that the deflection will be noted. So by using the galvanometer, we are able to measure the small currents, which is up to 10 power minus 9 amperes, that is nano amperes. But there are some demerits regarding this moving coil galvanometer. The demerits are, here the reading that is to be noted is not directly, we are not taking the reading of current, we are taking the reading of the deflection, angle of deflection. So direct reading of the current is not noted. We are taking, as the current is directly proportional to the angle of deflection, we are taking the angle of deflection from which the current is to be calculated. Okay.